The Nova Guest List Podcast
with Kieran McGuinness.
The very best in indie, alternative and homegrown music from the seriously addictive Radio Nova.
So that is the brilliant Daylight Robbery, recent single from Havvk, Havvk, brilliant Irish band, fronted by Julie Hawk. And we're very, very lucky because fresh from Electric Picnic, we have Julie on the line. How you doing, Julie?
I'm so fresh.
So you're full of dumplings from Electric Picnic, and we're not allowed to talk about food, but how was the festival aside from the dumplings?
I mean, the dumplings were a highlight, I have to say. Really good. Very hot, very friendly, everyone in really good form, lots of sunburn. Not me, thankfully. I packed some sun cream, but I don't think people realised or were expecting that weather. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah. Irish festival is sort of, you know, that thing where you have to bring sun cream and like rain clothes, which is the bizarre thing about Ireland. But so did you get to kind of hang around, or was it like straight in, straight out, or what happened?
We hung around more this year. So last year it was very stop-start with rain and we bailed entirely. As soon as our set was done, we just drove back home again. But this year, I actually played two sets because I also play bass with Pixie Cut Rhythm Orchestra. So I was up on Friday night, or down, I don't know what way I'm
across
direction anything is in right now. I was over on Friday night for the Pixie Cut set, which was really nice. But I went home and slept in my bed that night, which was lovely. But yesterday, Havvk played on the Cree stage, formerly the Body and Soul stage, so the one in the kind of amphitheatre, the natural amphitheatre, and that was beautiful. It was really, really lovely. You know, a good few people chose to come see us and didn't go to Idols, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, well, that's a tough matchup, but you just got to assume that there's a couple of festivals going on and you just got to kind of live with that attitude. But so it's been a brilliant couple of years, I guess, since Levelling. Levelling was released 2 years ago and was one of our, albums of the year here. How's it been going since then? Obviously, but there's been writing going on.
Yeah, I think as a band, because Levelling happened in lockdown and because we'd actually relocated the band to Ireland for the first time. And we were like, this is our, our big reintroduction to Ireland. But sure, it happened mostly from the comfort of our living rooms, and we weren't gigging that much around that album, apart from, strange sit-down lockdown gigs, and just been better and better up and up since then, because we've actually been going out gigging, getting to know our community in Dublin, and since then, especially in the last year, it's been really, really nice. I feel like we're finally a Dublin band. I think we can call ourselves that now.
Yeah, I was at one of those sit-down, lockdown gigs, and it was great fun now. It was very enjoyable, but it was definitely weird. But that was a really great gig, and live is where you're really kind of making your name, I suppose. How have the new songs been settling into the set?
Really, really fun, because we're writing a lot of very high energy kind of... We decided to try and write some pop bangers in the last 12 months, and it's been super fun. So I think there's a lot of tracks that we are going to be releasing in the next few months that are a bit less shoegazy than our last, or at least the singles are a bit less shoegazy, and so we're really enjoying playing those live. They're a bit more high octane, and I'm doing a lot more screeching than I have before, which I am thoroughly enjoying, and kind of running around the stage a bit more than we used to, which is exactly what you want, having not been able to play gigs for a while. So we also started playing with Nigel Kenny, who's Bitch Falcon's former drummer. We've been playing with him for the last, they were our favourite band back in the day.
Amazing band.
We feel very lucky to be playing with him. And I feel we're really settled in with him as well. We're very good friends, and he's just an excellent drummer, and just really, really enjoying playing with him.
Yeah, so I guess this is very different now. So for our recent album, it was all written in lockdown at night time, and it really influenced the sound of the album. You writing an album while you're kind of playing gigs, is that directing because you're writing songs for a set?
Yeah, I think it really influenced, because I think our older tracks might have been a bit more intricate in terms of different parts that we couldn't recreate necessarily on stage. And I think we just really wanted to lean into being a three-piece rock band, a bit more slapstick and messy and raw. So when we were writing, we were really being kind of trying to imagine how that was going to sound and feel and connect on stage. And even just with the length of the tracks, we've released songs now that are 2.5 minutes long, which we'd never done before. I think we've also got previous singles which are 6 minutes long. So I think we're trying to write around a really fun, high energy live show right now, which just reflects the mood that we're in at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the singles are sounding great. Daylight Robbery is brilliant. We're going to chat about Expiry in a minute. But, I mean, obviously this is all leading up to an album. So, but I looked at your press release and it didn't say an album in it. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, we have been recording up in Belfast with our beloved producer Rocky O'Reilly and with Nigel, actually. So he's who you can hear on all the recordings. Yeah, we might have a body of work coming out in March, perhaps.
Okay, so it's coming. There's a body of work.
That's all I can say.
Coming out in March. Okay, excellent. Well, that's very, very exciting to hear. So that'll be kind of 3 years since the last album. So really excited to hear that. And you're working with a former member of the band Oppenheimer, Rocky O'Reilly. Did you know he was in a band called Oppenheimer?
I only got to know that over the past few years working with him, kind of scratching the surface of his music taste has been also really influential, I think, to our own music. They're great.
Yeah, they are brilliant.
Also now probably harder to Google than before.
Yes.
The summer that we've just had.
insert going out with a bang puns and things like that, but we won't do that here. So there's going to be gigs coming, but we're not sure when they'll be, but there will be. The music will be live and you'll be on a stage and that kind of procedure.
We're building towards a tour in 2024. We'll probably do some spot dates here and there in the rest of the year, but I think we're going to keep it a little bit quiet because next year is going to be a big one for us with a big release on the calendar. And we're finally done with festival season there. So I think a nice little break is sounding pretty good. We're exhausted, but it's probably just the 4 hours sleep that I had last night talking at the moment.
Yeah, well, and the dumplings. Let's before we play the new single Expiry, can you tell us a little bit about it, Julie?
Yeah, there's a hook in Expiry, which is expiry, young lady, expiry, young lady, young man. And I've had this hook in my head for about 4 or 5 years. And I think when I was almost like, guys, I've got this silly out, because it's a silly song, and that's what I love about it. It's very much like poking fun at, the idea of getting older and, what you should be doing by a certain age. And it's meant to be very tongue-in-cheek and kind of humorous. And I don't think we were maybe a humorous band a few years ago. And now I'm really glad that I can kind of take ownership of some, like, maybe funnier kind of winky nod lyrics. And yeah, so it finally came back to the forefront of my brain. And we wrote the song around that kind of riff. And it's really just a big middle finger to the idea that you should be, settling down to certain expectations in life by a certain age. It's even things like the kind of ridiculous age limit that you see in the music industry, which it isn't ridiculous, because at one side you're realizing, like, okay, maybe I don't want to be sleeping on people's couches in my 30s and 40s. But on the other hand, there's different ways of making, having a music career that you can do well beyond your 30s and 40s. And I think it's just been really refreshing to kind of be in a band and realize that we can dictate that. And that's been really, really, really important part of getting a bit older for me.
Absolutely. Well, look at loving your stuff so far. Havvk, Havvk is the name of the band. Julie, thank you so much for chatting to me. Thanks for writing brilliant songs and the craft you put into it. And we'll talk to you very, very soon.
Thank you so much, Kieran.
Yeah, so let's play this one. This one's Expiry, and it's coming out from an album which may or may not happen early in the new year. This is Radio Nova.
The Nova Guest List Podcast with Kieran McGuinness. The very best in indie, alternative and homegrown music from the seriously addictive Radio Nova.